You can have seats now. Okay, so the brief sidebar I had with Mr. Riggins regarding Officer Wolf. I just want to put on the record that Officer Wolf is an employee of 36th District Court. I do not have a personal relationship with him, only working relationship in which he comes to the courtroom at 234 to do his job as a court officer. I want to make sure people in defense, there's no objection to me hearing testimony.
No objection. No objection.
Okay, I'll swear you in. Mr. Tell truth, no truth, and nothing but.
Yes.
Okay. Again.
Can you state your name for the record, sir?
Derek Wolf.
And what do you do for a living currently?
I'm the 36th District Court as well.
And how long have you worked at 36th District Court?
2 months.
And prior to that, where did you work at?
Detroit Public School Police Department.
And how long did you in total work for the Detroit Public Schools?
17 and a half.
You worked for DPS for 17 and a half years?
Yes.
And how long have you been in law enforcement in total?
39 years.
Before DPS, who did you work for?
I retired from Detroit Police Department.
And what were some of your common roles and responsibilities at the Detroit Public Schools Police Department?
We go to school. Sometimes we talk to the kids. We take care of the building, take care of the principals, take care of the family, and make sure that everybody's by law.
And in January of 2024, what was your assignment at the DPS Police Department?
I was assigned to investigations.
And as part of that assignment, does that include going out and taking reports from people who are making police reports to the school police department?
Yes.
I want to direct your attention to January 10th, 2024. Did you go to J.E. Clark School in Detroit?
Yes.
And what was the reason you went there, sir?
I got sent there by my lieutenant about a missing 13-year-old young lady from the school.
And when you went there, did you speak with someone who was making that report?
Yes.
Who was that person?
I talked to her guardian, her grandmother, which is her guardian.
And is that Annette Harris?
Yes.
And in terms of taking that report, what's that process like? I don't want to go into what anybody said to you, but what information are you looking for to gather to put into your report?
Okay, I'll make a mystery report. So I asked Ms. Harris, when the last time she seen her daughter, her granddaughter, description of what she had on. Has she ever been missing before? Does she have a boyfriend? Does she have friends she might go by the house and stay? Things of that sort.
And did you ask Ms. Harris all of those questions and get her answers?
Yes.
And then did you write an actual report?
Yes.
After you write that report, do you have any role in actually investigating to attempting to locate the missing person?
Yes.
Okay, what did you do after writing the report?
After I did the report, I canvassed the area looking for this young lady, although she was gone for at least 24 hours because she was missing the day before. And then from that point, we didn't find anything. So I followed the bus number that she was on. I got the video, and it showed where she got off the bus at Cornwell 3 Mile.
At Cornwell and 3 Mile?
Cornwell 3 Mile. Okay. And from that point, like I said, we went to the house, talked to the guardian again, talked to some of the people in the house, and then we went on in.
And sorry, just to be clear, you keep on saying we. Are you doing these things with a partner?
Yes.
And who is that partner?
Bill Garner.
Okay. Judge, may I approach?
Yes.
Approaching which has already been admitted as People's Exhibit 2. Do you recognize that, sir?
Yes.
And what is that is contained in Exhibit 2?
A school bus.
And is that a still shot from the video that you pulled or that you received?
Yes.
Oh, and that's the bus that you identified that NaZiyah Harris was on?
Yes.
Oh. May I have one moment, Judge?
Yes.
I have another.
Okay, Ross?
Stephanie. Mr. Wolf, you were dispatched to the J. Clark School because you're an investigator for DPS.
I was not dispatched. The lieutenant came to the office and told us to go back to school.
Oh, so you were requested, your presence was requested at the school.
Yeah, from my lieutenant.
You don't have an office within the school,
No,
so you're not like the school resource officer, per se.
no,
Okay. And you said you met with Ms. Annette Harris on the 10th
yes.
and that's in January 2024. That was early in the morning,
Around, between 11 and 12.
so school was in session at that time.
Yes.
Did you speak with the teacher who was in NaZiyah's classroom on the 9th of January?
No.
Did you speak with any of NaZiyah's known friends?
In the investigation, yes.
You did. Who did you speak to?
I can't recall that.
Did you write them in a report?
No, not in this report.
Okay, so you spoke with folks, but you didn't record their names?
I recorded probably on my run sheet, but not inside the missing report.
And you didn't take statements from anybody?
Not that.
Ever?
No.
Okay. Did you speak with anybody else at the school about NaZiyah, either on the 10th or anytime after that?
On the other chance, I talked to the guardian, which is the grandmother, and a couple of students. Yes,
Do you know how many?
a couple, two.
2. Okay. Just wanted to make sure we're the same definition of a couple. And you said you canvassed the area?
Yes.
What area did you canvass?
The 3 mile area, we're all around there, checking the alleys, knocking on doors, see if we can get some video, camera footage,
You
things
said
like that.
3 Mile, you said 3 Mile Drive?
3 mile and corner, that area.
Okay, and that's where the bus stop was?
Yes,
Where NaZiyah would have gotten off the bus?
yes.
Anywhere else around the school?
We checked around the schools, we checked on the street as well, but we didn't find anything.
In her classroom, does she have a locker or a cubby or anything where she stores items?
I can have that question.
You don't know?
No.
Fair to say then that you didn't check.
I may have, but I can't call right now.
Is there
It's a long time.
Is there a report that documents whether you did or not?
No.
Okay. And after you did the canvas of the area of 3 Mile Drive in Cornwall, what else did you do?
Went back to the station. Advised the lieutenant of what we came up with,
Which was what?
which was, I talked to the parent, grandparent, talked to a couple of students. We can find things and doing our search of the area.
So did you do anything else in regards to investigating?
No, I did not, because I was, getting ready to retire, so I was done.
Okay. I don't have anything further.
Can you redirect?
Very briefly, Judge. How long, you were first notified about this on the 10th, correct?
Yes,
And how long did you stay involved in the investigation?
that day.
Okay, so your activities that Ms. Quick asked you about contained, all happened on the 10th of January?
Yes.
What happened to the investigation after the 10th?
If someone else's investigation would have took over, besides me, because once again, I was leaving. I gave all the information that I had well, with my run sheet as well. So,
It was passed off to another investigator?
yeah, it would be.
Okay, and then are you aware of what happened after that?
No,
And you said that on the 10th, your lieutenant came in and asked you to go to J.E. Clark?
yes,
And who is your lieutenant?
at the time with George Harris.
Okay. I've not heard this.
I just, because you said you were leaving, are you leaving DPS or leaving for the day?
Retired.
Any questions based off of my question?
No, Jim.
Okay, you were all done?
And third at this time to do a call forensic tech Margaret Lavala.
Say your name for the record. And just one quick- Raise your right hand.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Yes, ma'am. Watch your step.
Good afternoon, could you please state your name for the record?
Margaret Lavala.
And where are you employed?
Currently, I am employed with the Macomb County Medical Examiner's Office
And when did you start there?
in July of 2024.
And before starting there, where did you work?
I worked with the Detroit Police Department as a forensic technician.
How long have you had that job?
I was there for about 6 years.
And what, as a forensic technician, what are your roles and responsibilities?
We would respond to scenes in the city of Detroit. We would take photos, collect evidence, search for evidence, and then compile a report based on our findings.
And I want to take you back to March 14th of 2024. Were you working with Detroit Police as a forensic tech at that time?
Yes, ma'am.
And were you working alone or with a partner?
That day I was working alone.
And I want to take you to the area of 7 Mile and Berg, that's the city of Detroit.
Yes, ma'am.
And were you dispatched to that location on March 14th, 2024?
Yes, it was.
And what is it that you did at that location?
At that location, there was a wooded area just south of 7 Mile to the west of Berg, and we searched that wooded area for evidence related to a missing person.
And what is it that you did when you searched?
I'm sorry, what was it?
What is it that you do when you search an area?
We will canvass the area in an ordered fashion, myself along with the other officers that are on scene. We are looking for things that are out of the ordinary or might suggest that something has taken place in that location.
Did you know what you were looking for at that location?
We were looking for clothing and clothing and shoes.
And did you take any photos?
I did.
And did you collect any evidence?
I did.
Okay. And I want to show you, may I first do a proposed exhibit 14?
Yes.
Showing you this market proposed exhibit 14 PowerPoint. Could you tell me, you recall going to this area?
Yes, ma'am.
And these photos, there are 129 of them. Do they fairly and accurately depict the scene of 7 Mile and Berg as you saw it that day, on March 14, 2024?
Yes, they did. That's right. Okay.
And Your Honor, with the addition Let's propose exhibit 14.
No objection.
Okay, they'll be admitted.
Thank you. Did you end up finding any evidence?
Yes, yes.
What evidence did you find?
We collected a pink jumpsuit, bodysuit style, and then a black hoodie that had a pair of white headphones in the pockets, some gloves, a towel, and a pair of red, black, and white gym shoes.
And Your Honor, may I publish?
Yes.
Since you have to allow me.
Try that.
And what, so this is in people's exhibit 14, this is gonna be photo 2. What is it that we have here?
So this is the photo card that we would take at the beginning of processing any crime scene. It includes the date, the time, the location that we're responding to, as well as who is the current officer in charge that ordered us out to that location, the crime or suspected crime that we're investigating, as well as my name, the code that I'm working, and the report number that is assigned to that case.
Now I'm gonna not go through all 129 photos here. I'm gonna show you some that I want to reference. This is for record purposes, photo 30. What do we see here in photo 30?
We are looking west down, so that fence on the left of the photograph is the fence for an abandoned building at the south end of the parking lot on the west side of Berg. We are looking west towards the Rouge River in that wooded area. You can see what is that pink jumpsuit in the background of the photograph.
Okay. And in 33, what do we see here?
That is one of the black, red, and white gym shoes that we collected from the wooded area that I had previously stated.
Okay. And would it be fair to say that that's a left foot shoe?
Yes.
Okay. And in picture 35, what do we have here?
That was a photograph of the inside of the shoe, its size tag.
And in 37, what do we see here?
Again, we are still looking in that wooded area. That is the black jacket that was collected. It's towards the front of the photograph, kind of behind that tree branch.
And in 42,
That was a close-up of the black hooded jacket that we recovered.
okay. And would it be fair to say that you opened up the jacket, or was this how you saw it?
We did open up the jacket to examine it, yes.
Okay. And in 45, what's in 45?
So I was looking in one of the pockets of the jacket.
And can you see what's inside the pocket at that point, or not?
That photograph, I believe there's a paper and might be the pair of headphones.
Okay. And in 47, what are we
Yes.
looking at there?
So yes, that was the paper and the pair of headphones that was recovered from that pocket.
And 50,
So that was going to be the hood of that hooded jacket. We noted that there are several holes in the jacket of unknown origin.
and 52, what do we see here?
Again, we are looking into the wooded area. You can see that pink jumpsuit that is stuck in the branches of those trees.
And in 63,
Again, a closer shot of that pink jumpsuit.
and 78, what do we see here?
That is the right foot of the red, black, and white shoe that was recovered. That was located in the trees near that jumpsuit.
Okay, and is that fair to say the right foot?
Yes.
And 79, what do we have here?
That was a photo of the inside, tag of that shoe to show the size.
And an 88.
That is the pink jumpsuit that we recovered.
And 89.
That's a photo of the size and the label of that jacket. Sorry, that jacket jumpsuit.
And in 120.
That was a photo of the river.
So how close was the Rouge River, I guess, to the area that you were searching?
So there was a large parking lot just off of the west side of Berg, and then there was an embankment leading down to the river. I would say less than 500 feet.
What condition was the evidence that we just saw in the photos? What was the condition of it?
It was wet, it was dirty, it was currently raining when we were out at that scene, so.
What did you do with the evidence once you photographed it?
Once it was photographed, we collected it, I collected it and took it from the scene. The items that were wet, we then brought to the Detroit Police Department evidence garage, where we have a drying chamber so that that evidence could be dried in a safe, secure, and way so that the DNA evidence could be preserved. And then once that evidence was then dried, it was packaged and processed and submitted to the DPD property unit.
And you would have been the one who placed those items in the drying chamber?
Yes,
And are you also the one who placed them on evidence afterwards?
yes.
I think we're good. Thank you.
Good afternoon. So I believe you said that it was raining on the day that you were dispatched out to this location at the site.
That is correct.
Had it been raining most of the morning?
To the best of my recollection.
When you were dispatched out by somebody at DPD,
That is correct.
when you arrived at the site, were there already people on scene?
Yes, ma'am.
How many people would you say?
Absolutely.
And were they all Detroit police officers, or were there other people there as well?
Everyone that I spoke with was with the police department.
Could you say for sure, certain that everybody there was DPD?
No.
You were notified prior to leaving, or when you got there maybe, what evidence or what items you were actually looking for?
They told us we were looking for clothing.
Okay. Were you under the impression that somebody had seen something and wanted you to come out and photograph it and tag it?
Yes,
Okay. So you weren't the first person out there to see it?
that is correct.
Do you know who originally had seen the items?
I do know.
So you didn't speak with anybody about where they initially located them?
I spoke with the officers that were at that scene, that called me after that scene, and they directed me to where this had been located.
But you can't say for sure where the items were located before you got there, fair to say?
Correct.
Did you see anybody else handle those items?
No,
But again, you couldn't say for sure that nobody did.
I can't say what happened before my arrival on scene.
One of the items was a black hoodie, right?
That is correct.
Fair to say that it appeared pretty weathered.
Yes,
I think your report notes that there's spider webs on it,
yes,
some detritus leaves, that kind of thing.
yes,
There was also a pink bodysuit.
that is correct.
Now that was not on the ground, correct?
No,
That was in some branches a distance away.
that is correct.
About how far away were those two items from one another?
Not that far, but you've given an estimate right now of distance.
Okay, yeah. Fair to say that the jumpsuit didn't necessarily appear similarly weathered to the hoodie?
No, it didn't.
It did have some like dirt or stains on it,
It did, yes.
but it wasn't quite as weathered, I guess. Same word I could use.
I was so, yes.
So you collected the items.
Mhm.
When you did so, did you wear disposable gloves?
I did.
Did you wear a new pair of gloves for each item that you collected?
I did.
Okay. And each item went into a separate bag?
That is correct.
It's got its own tag,
Yes.
and then you yourself drove them to this evidence garage?
Yes.
Now, this evidence garage, where is it at?
It's located at 116 Mount Elliott in the city of Detroit.
And you yourself, checked them in at the garage?
Yes.
What is the process for that?
So it is placed in our evidence tracker system, and there is a label in there to say that it is at the garage for drying. So it was noted that that was where it was going to be. The drying chamber is in a locked room, and then the chamber itself is also locked. So the key was acquired from my sergeant, my supervisor, to get into that room. The items were then hung up in a way that they were not touching each other. They did not come into contact with each other during the drying process. Then this chamber was locked back up. The door to the room was locked, and the key was returned to my supervisor. Then after 24 hours, then I returned to then collect that evidence where it was all packaged individually in their own bag, and then that was then taped, secured, and turned over to property.
And you did all that yourself?
Yes, sir.
So when you took each of the, took each of the items out of their respective bags, again, did you wear disposable gloves?
Yes, sir.
Did you change those gloves every time you handled a different piece of evidence?
Yes, ma'am.
And then when you recollected them, you put them in fresh bags?
Yes.
And you, again, used disposable gloves?
Yes.
And did you use different ones every time you handled each item?
Yes, sir.
Don't have anything else, thank you.
When you place these items on evidence, are they each given like a specific evidence tag number?
Yes,
Okay, and could we just go through those really quick? Do you have a report?
I do.
Okay, if you need to refresh your memory at all, please let me know, and if you want to refer to your report, to refresh your memory, just let us know, okay? So for the, red, black, and white Nike gym shoes, those were placed in evidence,
Yes.
and do you recall what tag number they were?
Can I refresh?
That would refresh your memory, yes.
Those were item E4.
Okay, and that black hoodie, that was also placed in evidence?
To refresh.
Yes.
The black hoodie was item E5.
And, what about that pink bodysuit?
That was gonna be item E6.
Okay. And, the headphones and paper, did you package those separately or, together?
Can I refresh my report?
If that would refresh your memory.
The headphones and paper were packaged together because they came from the same pocket under item
88? Okay. And there were a couple other items that you also placed in evidence?
That is correct.
Okay, what were the other items?
There was a pair of gloves that was recovered from the wooded area as well, and a brown, blue, gray towel. It was a dirty towel, a dirty wet towel from near the parking lot.
Okay, and did you place that towel in evidence?
Yes.
What number did you place that on?
May I refresh?
Yes.
So the towel was 82.
Okay, and what about those gloves you were talking about?
The gloves were 83.
Was there any other items?
There was like a Ziploc bag that was recovered from the other jacket pocket that was placed under item 89.
And anything else?
Not to my recollection.
Okay, was there any kind of rubber bracelet?
Oh, sorry, yes, there was a rubber bracelet that was recovered from that wooded area as well.
Okay, and was that in evidence also?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what was that stuff?
May I refresh?
If you would refresh your memory, yes, thank you.
That was item number 87.
Any further direction?
Thank you. Thank you.
At this time, people would call Tiggio Moore.
Walk this way into September blue. Raise your right hand.
You sort of tell people what you can.
Mayor, thank you. Could you state your name for the record?
Tiggio Moore.
And, excuse me, Ms. Moore, I'm gonna ask you a couple questions, but first I wanna ask you, do you know someone by the name of Cordell Wright?
I do.
And how do you know Mr. Wright?
He is the father of my nephew, my 17-year-old nephew.
So, your sister's son?
Yeah.
Gotcha. And is that how you met Mr. Wright? Or your sister?
Yes.
Okay. And in what context is your relationship with Mr. Wright? How did you know him? Did he ever do anything for you, things like that?
He fixed my mother's car. He worked on her car.
Okay, and what kind of car does your mother drive?
A red Jaguar.
And what's your mom's name?
Jacqueline Campbell.
And going back to January of 2024, where were you living at the time? Not your specific address, just the city.
Ypsilanti.
And who else lived with you in Ypsilanti?
My mom and my son.
Okay. And would Mr. Wright ever come out to Ypsilanti to fix your mom's car, her Jaguar?
Yes.
How often did he do that?
Like a couple times, at least 2 times.
And and was that around January of 2024?
That was the last time.
In January was the last time? And when he would go out there, would he bring anyone with him?
This last time he did.
What about
For the last 2 times. So before January 9th, him and someone else came, and then on January 9th, they both came.
Okay. And the person that he brought with him, do you see that person in the courtroom today?
Yes.
And could you point to him and identify a piece of clothing he was wearing?
Well, I can only see the top of his head right now.
Are you 100% sure that it's that person? Could we have everyone remove their masks, Judge, just for a brief moment?
If everyone in the courtroom could remove their mask if they have one on, please.
Ms. Moore, do you see the person that Mr. Wright brought with him?
I do.
And could you point to him and identify a piece of clothing he's wearing?
A green one-piece thing.
For the record, the witness has identified Jarvis Potts, the defendant in this matter.
So reflected.
Thank you. And you said Mr. Butts came out how many times with Cordell?
At least 2. So this last time in January and the time before that.
Okay, and the time before that, who was anyone else with the 2 of them?
No.
And what were they doing the time before January 9th?
Working on the car. I can't remember. There was a couple of things they had to fix on it. And they came out and did it in the driveway. And
Sorry.
I was just gonna say the last time we got the car towed to the shop and they drove it back up.
Okay. And so in between the most recent time before January 9th, the Jaguar, correct me if I'm wrong, was towed to Detroit?
Correct.
Okay. And then on January 9th, did you see that red Jaguar again?
Yeah.
Okay. Who brought that Jaguar out to Ypsilanti?
Cordell and Jarvis.
Okay. And was anyone else with Cordell and Jarvis?
Yes.
Who was that person?
NaZiyah.
And I want to clarify, at the time on the 9th, when Cordell, Jarvis, and NaZiyah came, did you know that that was NaZiyah Harris?
No.
Do you know that now?
I do know now.
Oh. And is that based on information you've learned or seen in the news and things like that?
Well, it was based on when the detectives came to the house to question us. That's when I found out who she was.
But at the time on the 9th, you didn't know? Is that a no?
No, yes or no, I did not know.
Now, let's talk about when they came out, on the 9th, January 2024. What was that interaction? How long did it last? Can you kind of take me through, start to finish, their visit and delivering the car?
So they came, they delivered the car, they were talking to my mom about what was wrong, gave her the invoice. It was just like a regular day when they came in, they sat on the couch for a few minutes. NaZiyah was sitting in the chair by the TV. You know, we spoke, very brief. Asked her if she wanted something to drink. She didn't. My 6-year-old son ran up to her, the dog. You know, it was just very mellow. They sat there, we talked about the car and stuff. We talked about my nephew. Cordell was trying to wait till my nephew got out of school, but because he was on tether, they had to leave. So they didn't get to stay long enough for my nephew to come.
And your nephew would be Cordell's son?
Cordell's son, yeah, correct.
Did you talk to Mr. Butts about NaZiyah? Did he introduce her or anything like that?
We just asked, you know, hey, you know, everybody spoke. He said this is his niece, and that was pretty much the basis of it. I cannot remember if he said her name or not, but he did introduce her as his niece.
And so, just to be clear, not sure about the name, but he said this is his niece about NaZiyah. Is that a yes?
That's a yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. And then after that conversation, well, let me ask you, during that time when they were there, did you notice anything that was unsettling or concerning about NaZiyah?
No.
It was just a normal interaction?
Yes.
After that interaction was over, did the three of them, Cordell, Jarvis, and NaZiyah, leave your house?
Yes.
Okay. And as far as you know, they were headed back to Detroit, right?
Correct.
When they left, whose car were they leaving in?
Cordell's truck.
And all three of them were in the same car?
Yes.
And you said that they were delivering the Jaguar to your mom or to your house, right?
Yes.
Did you see them pull up? Do you know what the driving and seating arrangements was?
I do not.
I know you were busy.
Thanks, Ross.
Good afternoon.
Correct.
So, you're technically not related to Cordell, right?
Correct.
That's just the uncle, I'm sorry, he is the
The
father
father.
of your nephew. Okay, how would you say your relationship is with Mr. Wright?
It's cool, like, no issues.
You got along with him well? Okay,
Yes,
and you know Cordell worked as a mechanic?
correct.
Okay, and how long has he worked on your vehicle? Was this something new, or had he worked on your vehicle previously?
I think he might have changed the oil on one of my cars a couple years back, but not that frequently.
Okay. And you knew he had did you know he had a shop that he worked out of?
Yes,
Okay, had you been to the shop?
yes,
Okay. And you said that there was a time prior to January 9th that he came up and worked on the car, correct?
correct.
And you said that my client was with him at that time.
Correct.
Do you recall when that was?
It had to be in the summer. I cannot recall the exact date.
But it was summer of 2023?
Yes,
Okay. And that was the first time you had seen Jarvis Butts?
yes,
Did you say anything to him that day?
yes, we talked about me being a member of Zeta and that he had a cousin or somebody that was a Zeta. We all went to O'Reilly's to get some parts or something for the car. Stopped and got something to eat, came back, but it was very mellow, like,
So that summer of 2023, you had a fairly decent conversation with him, correct?
correct,
And it lasted for a period of time, correct?
correct,
So on January 9th, when you saw him, you knew who he was.
correct,
You had recognized him because you had spent time with him, correct?
correct,
Okay. So you had the car, and you knew that he was partnered with Cordell at the shop, right?
correct.
Okay. So on January 9th, approximately when did you have the car towed down to his shop?
I think we had it towed maybe like the 4th or the 5th.
So it was there from the 4th, okay? And it was the 9th that they brought it back?
Correct.
Okay. Do you know approximately what time the car was brought back?
It had to be before 3:30 p.m.
It was
Oh, no, it had to be before 5:30, because my sister got off work at 5:30, so mid-afternoon,
but you're not sure the exact time.
I'm not sure the exact time.
Was it light or dark outside?
It was still like out.
Okay. And they came up, they pulled the Jaguar in first, the driveway.
Correct,
Right. And then Cordell's car was behind.
I believe so.
Okay. When they pulled up, did you see them exit the vehicle?
No,
Okay. So you don't know who was driving?
I don't.
Okay. So at that point, they came into the house, correct?
Correct,
And did they all walk in together? Or
Yes.
did- Okay, so Cordell came in, followed by Jarvis, correct?
I can't tell you the exact, I don't know if NaZiyah walked in first or Jarvis walked in first.
Okay. And this young lady, and to be fair, you didn't know who she was.
Not at all.
Do you recall what she was wearing when she came?
I think she had on a jacket, but I can't really,
Don't recall?
no.
Okay. Do you recall what any of them had on that day?
Not really.
Okay. So, do you recall, without going into your house, was it dark, light in your house? Were the lights on?
The lights were on.
Okay. And you have a fairly large living room?
Yeah,
Okay. So, when they came in, you said that NaZiyah sat next to the television.
so yeah, like when you're coming in, there's like a red cabinet type thing, the TV sits on top of it, and then there's a chair, right, like a chair, sitting right next to it, and that's where she was sitting.
Okay. And when she came in, did she introduce herself?
She did not.
Okay. So she came in, sat down, right?
We offered her to speak, like, came in, Cordell said hello, he was doing most of the talking, Jarvis said hello, said this is my niece. Then it was like, y'all have a seat.
Okay.
Cordell sat on the couch, there's a couch this way, and then a long couch this way.
But, I'm sorry, go ahead.
And I was just gonna say, I believe that they were both on this couch, NaZiyah was in the chair, and me and my mom were on the longer couch.
So your mom was there?
Yeah.
All right. And you all were conversing, correct?
Correct.
And it's fair to say that you weren't conversing with NaZiyah, correct?
No,
You were conversing with Jarvis. I'm sorry, you were conversing with Cordell.
Cordell and Jarvis about the car and the invoice that they brought.
All right. And you said at some point, your son came up and was talking with NaZiyah?
Correct.
Okay. And how long did this conversation last?
Like all of our conversation?
Right. How long were they there?
Probably between like 30, 45 minutes,
Okay.
maybe an hour.
And while they were there, you didn't notice anything, and I think you already mentioned this, you didn't notice anything out of the ordinary, correct?
Correct.
did you see Jarvis Butts conversing with NaZiyah Harris?
No,
So they didn't have any conversation?
no,
Okay. And you didn't notice anything awkward or out of the ordinary between the two?
correct. I didn't notice it.
So after about an hour, they left.
Correct.
Was it light or dark?
It was still fairly light.
All right. And they got into Cordell's car, correct?
Correct.
You don't remember the scene, I think you've already
No,
said
I do
that.
not.
But was Cordell driving?
Correct.
Okay. So that day you didn't think anything out of the ordinary happened, correct?
Correct.
And at some point you were contacted, correct?
Correct.
When were you contacted?
Well, we were contacted by Cordell the next day because when we paid the invoice, it was $70 short. So we had to get Jarvis's cash out to send the rest of the money. So that was the last part of the conversation. And then the detectives came, I want to say the end of March,
So the end of March. So
I believe. I don't know the exact day, but it was at least a month or two later.
and it was when the detectives came, when you found out that the person that was in your house was NaZiyah Harris, correct?
Correct.
All right. And did they tell you that this person was NaZiyah Harris?
They asked me if I knew who she was, and they asked me if I knew who Cordell was. They showed me a picture of Mr. Butts. They asked me if I knew who all these people were, and they asked me if I knew her name, and I did not know her name at that time.
Okay. And they told you her name?
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay. And at any point, did you look up why they were there or look up any information about this case
Yeah, after they left.
after they left?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what did you look up?
Objection relevance.
I just want to see where her information came from.
As long as the results of what she looked up.
I want to see the information that she had that go into her testimony.
Sure.
There's obviously there's podcasts out that are a bit unfavorable.
It's not obvious,
Well,
I don't know.
okay, you don't know. Okay. What did you look at?
I looked up Mr. Butts' oldest record,
Okay.
but I tried to type in his name, I typed in Cordell's name, tried to see if anything came up. At that time, there wasn't anything posted, but I didn't find much, other than his record.
Okay. This one. No further questions.
Can you redirect?
Yeah, very Ms. Moore, Mr. Reagan was just asking you about information that you looked up and things like that. When the police were at your house, though, the detectives were at your house. First, do you know if those were Detroit police officers?
Yeah, Detroit police
Detectives, okay. And you said that they showed you a picture of, in court, you said NaZiyah, right?
Say it one more time.
They showed you a picture of NaZiyah at that time, correct?
Correct.
Did you identify that picture when the police were there as NaZiyah Harris? Did you say her name?
No, I said that's the mechanic's niece.
So just to be clear, you identified her as the girl that was at your house
Correct.
with the defendant Jarvis Butts.
Correct.
Oh. And that was before you had looked up any information.
Correct, because I didn't know anything until the detectives came to the house.
And while NaZiyah and Jarvis and Cordell were at your house, you said NaZiyah was sitting next to the TV? Is that-
Yes.
And did NaZiyah, during that 30 minutes to an hour, ever get up and leave, use the restroom or anything like that?
No.
And you mentioned earlier that Cordell was on a tether and that's the reason he had to leave, right?
Correct.
Do you know what Cordell's tether hours were at that time? Like what time he had to be back home by?
I don't know.
How far of a drive is it from Detroit to Ypsilanti?
Probably about 40 minutes.
And what was the reason that Cordell had to leave again?
He said he had to be back in the house for his tether.
Okay, so did it seem like he was in a little bit of a rush to get back, or he was kind of getting close maybe with that drive, 40 minutes?
No, I think he had whatever he needed to do, and he just wanted to make sure he was in the city on time.
But is it fair to say that he would have left somewhat closer to his cutoff time? If that's the reason he left, or that he said?
No, I object. I think that calls for speculation on her part.
I was gonna say, I don't know. One second.
Do you want to respond?
If she knows, I think it's a close call.
If you know the answer.
I don't know. I can't say.
Wait, please. They'll take the name for the record. Raise your right hand.
So just motion and nothing but it. That's it. Whenever you're ready, Ms. Smith.
Hey, Judge. Good afternoon. Could you please state your name for the record?
Yolanda Butts,
And how old are you, Ms. Butts?
46.
And do you know, what name Jarvis Butts?
Yes,
And how is it that you know him?
he's my brother.
And how old is Jarvis Butts?
42.
And do you know his birthday?
Yes,
When's his birthday?
November 21st, 1982.
And do you see Jarvis Butts in the courtroom today?
That's all I'm walking in.
Okay. And can you point to him and tell me the color of the clothing that he's wearing?
He has on, I believe it's dark green shirt. He's sitting behind this lady to the side here.
And your Honor, with the record reflect that you identified the defendant in this case?
So, but, and just be clear, so I saw him walking in, you saw him when you were walking or when he was walking?
When I was walking in just now.
And Ms. Butts, where did you know Jarvis to work?
He worked at a shop on Warren and that, friends, and then he moved to a shop on Hopper and Connors. I don't know the name of it.
And Ms. Butts, do you remember talking to Detroit police back on February 26, 2024?
Yes,
And what's the reason that you went and talked to Detroit police?
I had reason to believe that, I saw NaZiyah the day she like this.
Tell me about that. What makes you believe that you saw NaZiyah on the day she went missing?
Where do you want me to start this one?
So, from the very beginning, where is it that you think you saw NaZiyah?
At the shop on Harrowing.
Okay, and whose shop was that?
My brother Jarvis Butts and his partner.
What's the reason you were at your brother's shop that day?
Something was wrong with the car that I was driving, and I just needed him to check it out to make sure it was safe for me to drive.
Do you recall about what time did you go to Jarvis's shop that day?
About 4 p.m., give or take a few minutes.
Okay, and around what time did you leave?
Somewhere between 6 and 6:30.
And what is it that you noticed while you were at the shop?
So it's a two car, like garage. So I was sitting outside of the shop in my car. They're working on another car on the inside. As I sat there for the time that I was there, I kept seeing a little girl get in and out of his truck, going to the gas station and going back to his car.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop you right there. Whose car are we talking about?
My brother.
Okay, and what kind of car was it?
Was it a Cadillac Escalade?
Do you remember what color?
Kind of like a pearl white, off white clean.
Okay, and you said you described this as like a two garage shop?
Yeah.
Okay, and I want to approach the people's exhibit 7. Ms. Woods, do you recognize what is it we're looking at in exhibit 7?
Yeah.
Okay, what is that?
That is the shop.
And where at were you parked when you saw someone getting in and out of Jarvis's truck?
In front of the car doors of the garage right here. Cars facing, I don't know what direction they're going towards garage. I was in front, but outside.
Okay, so you were kind of parked parallel with the road?
Yeah.
Okay. You draw a T where your truck was.
My car?
Yes, your car was. Yes. And then put an arrow, so way you were facing. And where is it where that Jarvis's truck was? Let's put a J where Jarvis's truck was. And what way was his truck facing?
It was facing my direction, so the front was towards.
Okay, so put an arrow for that direction. Okay. Now, you get a look at this little girl that you see getting in and out of this car?
I saw her, as she was walking. I never saw her face.
Did you see any clothing?
I did.
Okay. Did anything about the clothing stick out to you that you remember?
I just remember her having on a colorful jacket.
Okay. And what door, which side do you remember seeing her getting in and out of Jarvis's truck? Or did it change?
I don't really remember.
Okay, that's okay. So you said you mostly remember a jacket, a colorful jacket.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm going to show you what's marked as People's Exhibit 2, which is already admitted, and People's Proposed Exhibit 10. May I approach?
Yes.
And you would mark this people's exhibits 2 and 10. Do you recognize anything in those photos?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
What is it that you recognize?
Right.
And for the record, you're pointing up in channel 1, and you recognize this like pink colorful jacket?
Yes.
Okay. And that's in people's exhibit 10? Your Honor, group did measure people's exhibit 10 as exhibit 10. Is that a fair and accurate depiction of the jacket that you saw that day?
Yeah.
And who did it compose from people's exhibit 10?
Any objection? Okay, it'll be admitted as people's exhibit 10.
Okay. And in people's 2, that also, where is the, what you recognize people's exhibit 2?
Like, channel 2 here.
Okay. Facing the back?
Yeah.
Okay. And you recognize the jacket of this photo too, right? Yes.
It's a little blurry, but
Okay. What about in channel 1 of exhibit 2?
it'll be just,
Okay, and it's fair to say that's the back of a jacket?
Yeah.
The back of a jacket? Okay. So that you saw this little girl with this jacket on, getting in and out, going into the gas station?
yes,
Okay. Did you know who this little girl was at the time?
no,
Okay. Is there a time that you ever get out of your car?
yes.
And what do you do?
I needed to use the restroom, so I asked his partner, if I could use the restroom. He told me to go and tell him in the gas station. And as I was walking towards the gas station, she was walking in front of me going into the gas station.
Okay. So about how far in front of you was she?
Let's say maybe where the gentleman in the gray blazer is behind you. Maybe a little bit further, I'm not sure, but about that distance.
From where you are to them?
Yeah.
Okay. And
20, 25 feet.
yeah, I would agree with about 20, 25 feet. And you said you never got a chance to see this little girl's face.
No.
Okay. Was there anything else about her that you can remember?
I just remember her being kind of small, like outside of just seeing her getting out of the car. When I was walking towards her, it was like she's tiny, and I just remember the coat.
Tiny, like in what way? Like tiny, skinny, short?
Tiny, skinny, short.
And did you ever ask Jarvis who the little girl was?
Yes.
And what did he tell you?
He told me, and I can't remember if it was this exact word, but what he said is my partner's niece, or he said it was King's niece.
Okay,
But
you knew who he was referring to?
yeah,
Okay. Did you think anything of it at the time?
no,
And what is it that made you think something, was there a time where you thought something different?
yes.
Okay, and what is it that made you think something different?
I received phone call, so the video call from one of his kids' mom, and, she told me about some things that happened on Valentine's Day, and then she sent me a video of a podcast about my brother.
Okay. And what did you do as a result of receiving those things?
I called Shannon and I asked her for Sergeant Jones' phone,
And who's the Shannon that you called?
his kid's mom.
Shannon Harris?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you do anything before you go and talk to Sergeant Jones?
Yes.
Okay, what is it that you do?
Okay, so after having a conversation with, Shannon Harris and his other kid's mom, I was informed that his partner King, I guess something happened where the.
Objection, this is hearsay.
It's not a statement yet, Judge.
Being informed is,
I'm not sure what she's even about to say.
okay, just to the extent that it's informed of someone else's statement.
You might have to object in a couple moments.
You need to speak up.
You can stand up and
Please.
make your objection.
Yes, just objecting to the fact that she was informed of something. It appears this might be hearsay.
Oh. Could you finish what you were saying? I don't know where you're going with this.
Trying to remember where I. Okay, so after talking to Shannon Harris and his other kid's mom, I was informed of some things that had taken place big Valentine's Day. So they told me that his
So objection.
partner King.
Okay, so
That
at
is-
this point, this is hearsay. They told me and a lack of personal knowledge to the things that she was informed of.
Can I finish?
One second. What is an objection? Everybody, the witness has to stop talking.
So based on those, do you go and talk to someone else?
Yes,
Okay. Who do you go and talk to?
his partner King
Okay. And where is it that you go and talk to King at?
at the shop on Harbor and Commerce.
Okay. And without telling me what King said, kind of describe, what was your conversation about?
Well, I went to see what happened, and what was going on. During that time, I told him that I had never seen any little girl at, my brother's shop besides my nieces outside the little girl that I saw getting out of his truck.
And you told this to who?
King.
Who is King again?
His, business partner,
Okay, and do you know his government name?
I believe it's Cordero or something like that. I just always call him King.
Okay. So you went and told him that you hadn't seen anyone out at the shop besides your nieces and then the one little girl you saw that one day?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ask him about that little girl?
Well, I didn't ask him about it. After I said that to him, he told me.
Objection, Your Honor, this is gonna be hearsay again.
So it's gonna go to the effect on the list.
There could be an exception. I don't know what she said. So you might as well stay standing up. Go ahead, say.
After I mentioned to him that I had only saw my nieces and one particular little girl, he then told me that that was NaZiyah that I saw that taken out.
I would object then, given now that she has testified to that it is hearsay and that it is being introduced for the truth.
Judge, I would say that it's actually a statement of identification.
This is not an identification that she personally made, she's just being told.
And she saw NaZiyah that day, so it's.
She didn't know who it was, I mean, she had no idea who this was, that's
She
not
didn't know
her
who it was.
identification.
So it is hearsay.
Okay, so without saying what King said, were you informed of anything about a little girl that you saw on January 9th, 2024?
Yeah.
Okay, and to your knowledge, Jarvis had told you that that was King's niece?
Yes.
Okay, and when you talked to King, did you have reason to not believe what Jarvis told you?
Yes.
Do you know your nieces from Jarvis? That was a poorly worded question, I am sorry. If that was your niece, would you have recognized her that day?
Yes,
Okay. And you did not recognize this little girl as your niece, did you?
no,
Okay. What is it that you did after speaking with King that day?
I called Shannon Harris and I asked her for Sergeant Jones' phone number.
Okay. And did you eventually talk to Sergeant Jones?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. What day was it that you went to the shop and saw that little girl?
Can I ask you a question? I didn't remember the exact day at that time.
Okay. What is it that makes you believe that it was NaZiyah Harris that you saw on that day?
I'm not quite sure how to answer what you're asking me, like,
That may be a fully question. Can I say one thing? Yes. Ms. Butts, did you come to learn of the day that you had gone to Jarvis's shop by going through the locations on your phone?
yes,
Okay. And the day that you don't remember off the top of your head right now, but it is revealed in your phone locations?
yes.
Um, When is it that you went through your phone locations to determine the date? I'm sorry, do you need a moment?
Believe February, I think the 24th or the 26th, I can't remember the exact date.
Okay, that's when you would have went through your phone to find those?
Yes,
Okay, and did you also go through that in your interview with Sergeant Jones?
yes,
Okay. And did you give Sergeant Jones permission to look at your location data?
yes,
Okay. And your phone kind of abstraction in general? To go through your phone for the data?
yes.
Okay. Nothing else, Judge. There's Chris.
So you go to the shop where your brother works periodically, right?
From time to time, yes.
You've been there prior to the day we've been talking about today,
Yes,
a couple times at least,
yes,
and you've been back there after.
yes.
But the day we've been talking about, that's the only time you ever saw a child there?
That was the only time I saw a child I didn't recognize.
Okay, so you had seen other children there before?
Yes,
Okay, when you say that you recognize, these are who exactly?
my nieces.
And when you first arrived at the shop that day, Jarvis told you that he wasn't going to be able to work on your car?
No,
No? Did you ask him if he'd be able to?
Judge, I think this calls for hearsay. They can't admit statements of the defendant.
I'm looking more so for her own statement, actually.
For her what?
Let's start with her own statement.
Okay.
Did you ask him right away if he would be able to work on your car
I talked to him prior to coming to the shop.
before you arrived? You asked if he could work on your car that day?
I asked him to look at my car today.
Okay. Did you arrive at the shop with the understanding that he would or would not be able to?
I arrived at the shop knowing that he was going to look at my car.
Okay. One. Was that via text or call or some other way?
Probably video call.
Okay, so a video call a little bit before you headed over?
Earlier in the day, maybe. I'm not sure exactly what time.
Okay, so that's how you decided that you'd go over later.
He told me I could come.
Judge, this is kind of all falling hearsay in the backdoor way.
The response is hearsay. Not that you necessarily asked for it, but it is hearsay.
Sure, we can use it her own. So to be clear, we don't need to talk about what he said to you, but you did a video call to him. And in that call, you asked if he could work on your car.
You keep saying work on my car. I said look at my car.
Okay, look at your car, but you asked him personally in the video.
Yes.
Okay, and that was maybe that morning?
I don't remember what time of day it was, but it was before I went to him.
Okay. Okay. And as you were saying, this day, I think you said you saw some other children there at other times, but this particular child, you only ever saw this child on this particular day.
Yes,
And the whole time you were there from your testimony and from that police interview, you said that you never saw her face.
yes,
And then you did also see some news stories about this case
yes,
on the podcast that you talked about. Right, there were some podcasts.
I had already saw her on the news, but I did not know who she was.
Sure, but that was, by seeing those stories, that's how you started to think.
Well, I was sent the podcast after some other things that was told to me. That's when I received the podcast.
So initially, between the day you were at the shop, right, and then until you started to see that news, at first you didn't make this connection that maybe she was anyone in particular.
Not at all.
And then through seeing that news, those podcasts, that's when you started to think she
No.
was.
That's not the reason why I thought that.
No, but that's the timing, or it's not?
I guess you could say that.
That's when you started to, at least when you saw those things, that's when you started to wonder.
I was wondering before I saw the podcast.
Okay, in your police interview that you did
Mhm.
you tell them that at first when you saw the news, you didn't really make a connection because of not having seen her face?
Yes,
Okay. So that interview was on February 26th, 2024, right?
Yeah.
And you were having some trouble remembering some of the specific details from January 9th at that point?
Not so much as remembering maybe the order I remembered it in.
Okay, were there some times at least though when you asked some questions and some details that you had to say, I can't remember some things?
I can't remember now.
Okay. Well, would you agree that at least
Like,
that it,
didn't I?
okay. I was just saying,
Probably did. I guess it would be safe to say because I didn't know.
okay, so you think it's safe to say that at that point in time, there are at least some details you were having a hard time, some questions you couldn't answer?
I can't disagree.
And it was pretty close in time, shortly before that police interview, that was when you first started to think that maybe this girl who'd seen at the shop had been NaZiyah Harris.
Can you repeat that?
So the first time you started to think that maybe that child, the one you saw, maybe that was NaZiyah Harris, that was pretty close in time to the police interview.
Maybe about a week or so before.
Okay, I believe, does it sound right to you that I think you told the police that it was on the Thursday prior to the interview?
Whatever the Thursday was after Valentine's Day.
Okay, so probably February 22nd. That was the Thursday prior to your interview.
Okay.
And then when you were at the shop, you primarily saw this child while she was inside a truck, right?
I didn't know it was a child in the truck until she kept getting out.
Okay, but when you saw her, she was in a truck?
I saw her getting out the truck, yes.
And were you inside your vehicle?
Yes,
You arrived in the daylight, right?
yes,
And that's, I think, what you're referring to, right? Initially, that's when you didn't yet know somebody was in the truck.
can you say that again?
So at the beginning, when you first got there, right, you didn't know right away that somebody was in the truck.
No, I didn't.
I think you said before, because it was so light outside, it was a bit difficult to see into the truck.
I wasn't really paying attention to his truck. He was outside.
Sure. And then in your police interview, you referred to then seeing a light in the truck, and that's when you started to see somebody?
Yeah, that's when the door opened.
Okay, so there's a light turned on, and at the same time, a door opened?
That's the reason the light was on.
Okay, because the truck door was open. Yes. And you said that you saw a couple different times her go back and forth to the gas station?
Yes,
And only at one of those different times, you were on your way to the gas station as well.
yes,
But for that whole time, she remained in front of you?
when I was going into the gas station, she was in front of me. When I walked into the gas station, she went to the left, I went straight and over to the right.
For that walk over to the gas station, was it getting dark at that point?
It was already dark.
Okay. And while she was in the truck, you were not sure exactly which part of the truck this was?
I can't remember. No.
Okay. So you understood initially that when you arrived, you'd probably have to wait at the shop sometime?
Yes,
You referred to just one other car you worked on first? Is that all there was before you?
it was actually another vehicle out there, but I don't pay my brother to work on my car, so I had to wait until he was done making his money. So I waited.
Sure. So do you know how many cars he worked on before he got to you?
I don't remember.
Okay. Do you know if there were any other customers present in person?
I did see someone, I can't remember what kind of car it was in, but it was, I believe, a gentleman.
that needed to pull into the garage because Jarvis asked me to move my car out the way because I was blocking the garage, so, yes.
Was this someone you recognized at all?
No,
So in total, other than Jarvis or who you refer to as King, was there anyone present that you recognized that day?
no, just King and my brother.
So as you said, the sunset light were there. Do you know about how long it was light out before it got dark?
Well, I got there about 4 o'clock. It didn't take long for it to get dark. I don't remember the exact time, but that dark pretty fast.
Okay, and then other than when you went to the gas station, were you always at the shop?
What do you mean?
So did you go anywhere else?
No, I never left. All I did was move my car when he asked me to move my car. And once the driveway was clear, I back where I was. I didn't go anywhere.
Okay, and when you were present, not going to the gas station, were you always inside your vehicle?
Yes,
Were your doors open or closed?
closed.
Okay, and were your windows up or down?
They were up unless I asked them something.
Okay, so sometimes if you needed to communicate, you just open the window.
Or I would call them, yeah. Yes,
And you were saying today that at one point you did speak to Jarvis about who this girl was.
yes.
And when you were talking to the police about this, you had said that you weren't sure exactly what his response was.
What I said was I wasn't sure of the word.
Sure, that's what I mean. That
Okay.
You told the police, right, that it might have been King's niece, or maybe he said it's my homeboy's niece.
He said it was his partner or King's niece, but he definitely said it was someone else's niece.
Okay, does it sound right to you that you used the term homeboy's niece for the police?
I probably did.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying to me.
And then that's what you continued to think at first, right? At first, you just believed that it was someone else's niece.
Yeah,
Specifically, you thought it was probably King's niece,
that's what I was told.
which I think as we established that King is the same person as Cordell, right?
Yes,
And then after that, you would listen to some of these podcasts and to the news.
I listened to his kid's mother and then I watched the podcast.
Okay, so those are some things that happened.
Yes,
And then once you started to have this different information you were gathering, then you kind of started to look into it for yourself,
yes,
do some of your own investigation.
yes,
And then at one point following that, that's when you decided to go back to the shop
yes,
to speak to Cordell,
yes,
to discuss some of these things you've been learning with him.
yes.
You and Jarvis are not particularly close.
I wouldn't say that we're really distant. I don't see him every day. I don't talk to him every day, but he's my brother.
Okay. He's your brother, but you don't have a very close relationship, or?
He's my brother.
What about with his children? Are you close with his children?
Some of the ones that I know,
So he has 13 kids, right?
I have no idea.
Do you have an idea of around how many kids he has?
A lot,
Okay. Do some of them live with different mothers?
yes.
And you don't spend time with all of them?
No,
So which ones do you know?
I don't want to say their names. They're minors,
Okay.
and I don't want to disclose their identity.
Could you just give it a number instead? How many do you know?
I'm counting. About 80.
So when you say 8 that you know, does that mean 8 that you have like personal contact with?
I have.
When is the last time that you've seen any of them?
Yeah, 2 months ago.
Were you and Jarvis raised by your grandmother?
For the most part.
And were there some events surrounding her death that related to your relationship with Jarvis that impacted some things?
No.
Oh, I have no further questions. Thank you.
Any redirect?
Yes, Judge. Here's what's, you said that there was there was another reason, or a different reason, that you thought that it was NaZiyah that you had saw it that day. When you were starting to compile, or you talked to Shannon Harris, and then you got the podcast, before that, you said there was other reasons why you had thought that was NaZiyah.
So, am I?
Yes,
Can I speak for?
what is
Okay,
it? Yes.
so, at the time, I didn't know. Once I realized that it was a possibility, that I saw her, there were several reasons that led me to believe, that it was a possibility I was there. And I didn't want to get into detail as far as what I knew before the podcast. But if you would like, I would explain to you why I thought these things.
Janice,
So too.
Can we approach?
yes.
We need to discuss the unit, right?
What's that?
Oh, you need to discuss the unit?
Yeah.
Okay.
The date is in there.
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Give me some more. Can you give us a word from the? Can you give us a word?
Oh,
We do some more? No, this is. I got like 2 days. Okay, we are back on the record. Ms. Bussey, you are still under oath. Ms. Griffin, go right ahead.
Thank you. So, what's the sources of these reasons that you have? Are these things that you know from your personal knowledge? Are these things that you observe yourself?
I'm sorry.
So, these reasons that you were thinking of, what are the sources of them? Is it somebody told you something? Is it something that you saw yourself, you observed, or a coupling of that?
Let's say there's both things that I was told and things that I heard.
Were there heard from Jarvis?
No,
Okay. Were these things that you had already known prior
prior to,
to thinking that was NaZiyah that you saw?
I'm sorry, I'm confused on the question.
So are these things the sources that you have for these reasons? Are they like things that you have personal knowledge of, or are they things that somebody told you about?
These were things that I was told. I'm trying to understand the question that you're asking.
Ms. Griffin, you're referring to the question before we went into the sidebar about her leading up to believing that it was possibly NaZiyah Harris at the shop, right?
Yes.
Does that help clarify?
Okay.
The question?
Okay, so those reasons, those things, are those things that you had known before? Are they based on your observations? Or
Well, these were things that I was told. And after asking the questions that I needed to ask, I came up with the conclusion that it was a possibility that NaZiyah was the little girl that I saw.
thank you. You said that when you were parked at Jarvis's shop, that it was getting dark out.
Yes.
Okay. That darkness, is that maybe the reason why the color on the jacket stood out?
Well, the jacket didn't stand out until I was walking into the gas station behind her because I wasn't really like paying attention to what she had on. I just kept seeing her get in and out of the truck, going in the gas station and coming back to the truck. And that's what caught my attention.
Okay, so the movement is what attracted you to it at first?
Yes.
Okay. Kevin, the judge.
Okay, Ms. Bussey, you're going to testify once you start to graduate. Okay, one last witness for today, right?
Yes. It's time to go to call Latricia Johnson.
Raise your right hand, please.
You swear to tell the truth, more truth than nothing but the truth. Whenever ready, Mr. Richards.
Thank you. Good afternoon, please state your name for the record.
Latricia Johnson,
And how old are you?
31.
And I don't want to know your exact address, but what street do you live on?
Johnson,
And what kind of vehicle did you drive back in January of 2024?
Blue Nissan Sentra.
And do you recall being interviewed by the Detroit Police back on August 30th, 2024?
Yes,
And third, that was in relation to a driver's box.
yes,
Okay. Do you know a driver's box?
yes.
Okay. And how is it that you know driver's box?
He's my daughter's father.
Okay. And do you see Mr. Butts in the courtroom today?
Yes,
And can you point to him and tell me the color of the clothing that he's wearing?
he's right there. He's wearing blue.
And you're with the record of that the police have identified the defendant? So rebuttal. And you said that he's your daughter's father.
Yes,
How old is your daughter?
she just turned 2.
And when did you meet Jarvis Fox?
2019.
And how was it that you met him?
I had a flat tire and I went to the auto shop on Warren and Kensington. And then
Now, you said you have one daughter with Mr. Butts. Do you have any other children?
yes,
Okay. What other children do you have?
I have a son.
Okay. And how old is he?
He's 7.
And that is not a child by Mr.
No.
Butts. Now, do you recall, moving back to February 15, 2024? Do you remember that day?
Yes.
Okay. And what happened that day?
Police came to my home, asked me if I know drivers and have I seen NaZiyah before.
And did they do anything at your house?
They searched my house.
Did they ever search, on that day, did they search your vehicle?
No,
Okay.
they just looked in it. They didn't see the window that was search looking inside.
Was there ever a time that you allowed Jarvis to use your vehicle?
Yes, one time.
And which vehicle? 2 times? Okay. And
Just under the.
2 times.
in which vehicle was that?
The Blue Nissan Sentra.
Okay. And I showed you a PowerPoint before of 197 photos of a Nissan Sentra. Do you recall seeing those photos?
Yes.
And,
Can you hold on 1 moment?
oh, sorry. Yes, do you recall me showing you the photos, of a Nissan Sentra before?
Yes.
Okay, and, in showing you those photos, did those fairly and accurately depict how your Nissan Sentra looked back on, August 30th, 2024?
Yes.
Okay, now, it is. First, I'll move for the admission of People's Proposed Exhibit 11, the PowerPoint of the Nissan Sentra.
Any objection?
No objection.
You're going to ask people to exhibit 11?
Thank you, Judge. Okay, publish?
Yes.
Now, when you let Jarvis Butts borrow your vehicle, did it look, how it was photoed?
The back was messed up, but the front was good.
Okay,
It fits.
so back in January of 2024, your car still had the front end?
Yes.
Okay, is that the only difference in how it looked?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the only difference in how it looked from January of 2024?
Yes.
Okay. When is it that Mr. Butts, borrowed your vehicle?
January 9th.
Is it the first time?
Yes.
Okay, and you said there was a second time?
Yes.
When was that?
I think it was either the day next day or the day after that day. I don't remember.
Okay. The first time, let's start with the first time. How did it come about that he borrowed your car?
He called and asked if he can use my car to do something with his son.
And when is it that how did he get your car?
I didn't get him until about 9 o'clock and he came to my house.
Is that 9 a.m. or 9 p.m.?
9.
9 p.m.? Okay. You said he came to your house and picked it up?
Yes.
Okay. To your knowledge, did Mr. Bucks say how long he was gonna borrow your car for?
No,
Okay. Did you have a time where you expected it back?
at least 2 hours.
When did Mr. Bucks return your car?
Next morning.
Was this normal, abnormal,
No, not
not normal? Okay. And did Mr. Bucks say what he was doing in your car? Did you notice anything different about or in your car after his use that first time?
no.
Okay. Did you notice anything in the back seat that was different?
There was a pair of glasses that was left that my son was playing at the time.
Okay. And I'll show you. In People's Exhibit 11, photo 37. Where at would your son be sitting?
On the passenger side,
Okay, in the past.
on the back seat.
So kind of see it better in photo 41. He was sitting behind the passenger seat.
Yes.
Okay. Describe the glasses that he was playing with.
I believe they were clear around the frame parts. I don't know what the ends look like, but I do remember they were clear.
Okay. And I want to show you what's already been introduced as People's Exhibit 12.
Yes.
Is there anything in People's Exhibit 12 that you recognize?
The glasses.
Okay. How is it that you recognize those glasses?
They were clear just like that. The sun, when the sun was coming.
Okay. Now, you said your son was playing with them in the backseat. How did you get them from your son?
I told him to give them to me because I didn't know who glasses they were.
Okay. How is it that you go to ask him or come to ask Jarvis about these glasses?
Well, my son was playing with them and I was with Jarvis at his shop.
And I guess
The next day, I went to the shop and my son, after taking my son up to school, Jarvis was seeing his daughter and my son was playing in the back with the glasses.
from when Jarvis had borrowed your car and returned it to you picking up your son from school. Had anybody else borrowed your car? Okay. So you're at the shop, you see your son playing with the glasses. You take them from him. Said yes?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. Now, tell me, what does Jarvis do?
He mentioned for me, so he goes with his sunglasses.
And do you think anything of this at the time?
No, I just thought it was his sunglasses that he was taking his son, so. In the car.
Now, the second time that Jarvis asked to use your car, you said that was either the day after or the next day?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me about how that comes to happen.
Well, he comes to my house when he get off work. He comes by to get my car. Then he used it again for his son. I said, okay. And when he said he wasn't going to be gone for that long like he was the time before, I said, okay. And he was only gone for like 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours.
And are those the only 2 times that he ever used your car?
Yes.
Okay. Were there times that he would be in your car with you?
Yes.
You would take him places?
Yes.
Okay. Have you had any contact with Jarvis since he turned himself in on February 7th, 2024?
Yes.
Okay. And what was that through?
Phone calls, yeah, text.
Okay. And do you recall a phone call in which Jarvis asked you some things about your vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. And you've heard that call before?
Yes.
Okay, and was that call that I played for you, is that a fair and accurate depiction of the call that you had with
Yes.
Jarvis, that him asking you about the car?
Yes.
All right, move the admission of people's, exhibit 13.
Any objection?
Objection.
And remember, man, public.
Yeah, it'll be admitted as people's exhibit 13 and you can publish. Can I also see, exhibit 12 when you go?
And for the record, this phone call was 6 minutes and 3 seconds long.
This is a call from an inmate at Wayne County Jail. This call is subject to recording and monitoring. The inmate has requested that you pay for this call. If you don't wish to talk, hang up now. Thank you for using Telmate.
Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, that shit is crazy. Anyway, I got one more for you to do. 313-207-2195.
Hello.
Hello?
What is it?
207, 2195.
217.
Huh?
217.
0.
Hello?
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 Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Alright. I don't know what the fuck going on, man, but yeah, they done did everybody's shit.
You said what?
I said, I don't know what the fuck going on, but they done did everybody's shit.
Everybody shit. You on everybody house?
Mm-hmm.
They come to my shit?
I don't know.
I don't even think they know of me.
But I need you to, anything that I had, anything that I've touched, that's just for yourself, man. Anything about me, man. That's to clear your goddamn self. You feel me?
Yeah.
Huh?
I feel you.
Yeah. So I said, go to mama house.
Go to my mama house?
Yeah. Go to your mama house, man.
Alright.
That's crazy.
How you calling me?
No house, I'm doing something, man. You ain't supposed to be doing nothing but go to mama house, man.
Okay.
Grab mama car.
Huh?
I said, go to mama house, get mama car.
Get her car?
If you gotta go home, use her car.
Okay.
Call it a day, man. I don't know what's going on, but if you gotta go to your mama, like I said, when you go to mama house, like I said, you go home, use her car.
So don't use my car at all?
I don't know what's going on, bro. They taking everybody's car. Well, go to use your mama car, man, and drive around, man. Try and put yourself with your mama car, man, your brother car, somebody car. I don't know. This shit is beyond me.
Okay.
This shit is beyond me. I don't know what the fuck, man. Clean them motherfuckers out or something. I don't know.
My car?
Yeah, they got my phone. They got my cars. They got their cars. They got they guns. I don't know what the fuck they doing, bro.
They looking for something.
Yeah, but what the fuck it ain't got shit to do with me is what I'm saying. It don't got shit to do with me, man, and I'm not understanding what the fuck is going on. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll call you later, man. Like, I don't know what the fuck. I gotta wrap my head around this shit, dog. This shit's starting to piss me off.
Okay.
So I'll get in touch with you later, man.
Okay.
All right. Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on, bro? You at your job, your regular job?
Mm. Yeah. My regular job. 6:45.
I'll call you about 7:30ish.
Alright.
I love you. No.
Alright, cool.
Trevor just told you those things.
I didn't know what to do. And tell me those things.
What did you do in response to receiving this call, if anything?
No,
Did you clean anything up?
No.
Did you wipe anything down?
No.
And that would be in your house?
yes, house, car, everything. Didn't touch it up, nothing.
So, just to clarify a little bit. Service borrowed your car on the 9th,
Yes,
brought it back the 10th in the morning,
yes. Yeah,
about 6 a.m. or so, or in the
Yeah.
morning,
in the morning about 8:30, 8 o'clock.
8:30.
I was taking my son to school.
Okay. And did he borrow it later that day again or the next day?
I can't remember if it was later that day or the next day. I just know he did it.
I think they're just.
Now, you indicated that you knew Mr. Butts since 2019.
Yes,
Correct. You met him at the shop, correct?
yes,
At his shop.
yes.
Would you describe your relationship with him as a
Holy?
cat? I'm sorry?
You said as a holy? We do.
Would you describe it as a physical relationship or was it a real relationship?
Oh, it was a physical relationship.
Okay, so you knew Mr. Butts was seeing other people, correct?
Yes.
All right, so that's not a surprise, to you,
No.
correct?
The fact that he lied to me, that's a surprise.
Okay. So he would tell you he was coming over and you wouldn't know where he was coming from, correct?
Yes,
That's nothing new.
definitely.
Okay. Do you know, besides your daughter or Mr. Butts, do you know Mr. Butts' other children?
I met quite a few of them.
Okay. Have you met any of the other mothers?
About two in the beginning of the relationship we had. Yeah, we see about 2 or 3 of the others.
Okay. And have you had any issues with the mothers?
No,
So you know Mr. Butts works as a mechanic, correct?
yes,
And have you ever seen him wearing safety glasses in the shop?
yes,
Okay. Safety glasses are clear, aren't they?
they not those.
They're not.
They not the kinds that I've seen. No,
Okay. So he borrowed your car on the 9th, correct?
yes,
And you said he came over around 9 p.m.
yes.
All right. When he came over 9 p.m., was there anything out of the ordinary that you noticed?
No,
Okay. Did you have a conversation with him that day?
we swapped out cars. Yeah, quick swap out cars and he was gone.
And there was no other conversation
No.
that day? You didn't notice anything about his appearance? Didn't notice anything about his demeanor?
You know,
Okay. And you say he came back the next day?
yes,
All right.
the next morning.
Could he have dropped your car off later that night? I mean, earlier that night?
No, he did not.
He didn't drop it off at, say, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning?
No, he did not.
Okay. And you said that your son, and forgive me, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but there was a lot of things in this car.
Mhm.
Is that the condition the car always was in?
I mean, my son has toys. It's always
stuff in there, yes.
Okay.
But, it's only my kids' stuff that be in my car, be my kids. The only people that really be in my home, for my mother.
Okay. And your testimony is Jarvis Butts, prior to the night, had never been in this car before?
Oh, no, he's been in my car.
Okay.
He's been in my car. I take him places.
Okay. So, your son finds the glasses,
Yes.
correct? And you say he finds the glasses, this would be on the 10th? He finds the glasses?
Yes, either the next day or whenever. I don't remember what day, but I know the next day. It was the next day, you know that, yes, it was.
So you're not sure what day the glasses were
I'm not
found?
sure what day the glasses was found because I went to his job twice
Okay.
after that. So I don't know which day, I don't know if it was the 10th or the 11th,
So it could have been either day,
yes.
all right?
But
And
it was in my car,
so your son was playing with these glasses.
yes.
There was nothing remarkable about these glasses, right?
They were just clear glasses.
And so you couldn't identify the glasses and say, hey, these glasses were smaller than a normal pair of glasses. These must be a pair of kids' glasses, right? You couldn't say that,
He
right?
said they were his son's glasses. So, is he saying it's his son, that would mean it was for kid glasses, right?
So you say, he said they were his son's glasses?
Yes.
And
I got a hard one. Oh, okay. Yes. Go right next.
so you said your son was playing with glasses, correct? And you took the glasses from your son, correct?
Yes.
And what did you do to him once you took them?
He was playing with me, you know, up there with Jarvis. When I took it from him, they do not your glasses. Jarvis took it from my hand.
Okay, so you didn't examine these glasses, correct?
I put that on his face, and he was playing with my face.
Okay,
So how can I not examine his glasses when I'm looking at my son with these glasses on his face?
you didn't study these glasses, correct?
No, I didn't study these glasses, but they were clear and they were on my son's face.
So later on, you showed a picture of NaZiyah Harris, correct?
Yes.
And you saw her wearing clear glasses as well, right?
Yes.
At the time you saw her with glasses, did anyone tell you that she was missing?
Yes, they did.
Were
And they
you,
showed me the picture.
were you aware that she was missing?
From the news.
Okay, and were you aware that Mr. Butts was a suspect?
No, not at the time, until they came to my door.
Okay, so when you told them that these glasses, you saw glasses similar to this?
I didn't tell them then.
Okay,
I didn't know about that until
all right.
it took me a minute to think about the glasses
So you came back and told them later,
when they came to my house.
okay, that you saw a pair of glasses in your car,
Yes,
and the best you can say is that these glasses may be similar, right?
they maybe was similar.
Right.
Yes,
You cannot testify that these are the exact same glasses, correct?
No, I cannot testify that those are the exact same glasses.
Can you tell whether the glasses had prescription lenses in them?
I didn't put them on my face, sir, so how would I know?
Did your son say anything about that?
No, how would he know? He said he was, what, 6, 7, 5 at the time. So how would you know what prescription glasses are?
You wear prescription glasses, right?
Yes.
If you take them off, you see differently, correct?
Yes, but I did not put the glasses on.
Yeah.
So how will I know they were prescription glasses if I didn't wear them? My son wore the glasses, so how am I supposed to know? I don't have his eyes.
My question was, did your son say anything about the
No.
glasses?
He was playing with the glasses and I told him to take the glasses off because we didn't know what glasses they were.
Okay.
I didn't know if they were prescription, so I told him to take them off. When he took them off, he handed to me. Oh, Jarvis said, "Oh, those are my sunglasses," and he snatches it from my hand.
Okay. And what did Jarvis do with the glasses?
I don't know. He went towards his car.
Okay. You didn't think anything else of the glasses, did you?
No.
Okay.
All he said was those were his sunglasses at the time.
Your employee?
Yes.
All right. And your Nissan, was that your primary mode of transportation?
No.
That was a secondary car?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't drive my car. I use my mom's car when I'm working.
So is Nissan your car?
Yes, it's my car.
Okay. And Mr. West called you and told you to drive someone else's car?
Yep.
All right. Just one moment. So when he told you that, you didn't do anything, right?
No.
You didn't think anything of it,
No.
correct? You didn't clean out this car, correct?
No.
So anything of Mr. Butts would still be in his car, right?
Yes.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Can you redirect? Yes. You were asked about knowing that Mr. Bucks was seeing other women,
Yes.
but you said he lied about things.
Yes.
What did he lie about?
About how many women, and he was still dealing with the women. Everything.
So you didn't, fair to say you wouldn't know how many women were out there?
Yes.
And did you know that he would be dealing with women at the same time as he was dealing with you?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm going to object at this point. I'm not sure what the relevance of that is as to this. How many women he's dealing with?
Was there a response? Yeah, it goes to whether or not he would be, whether he's secretive about things, whether he would know about.
He's very secretive.
And that was really the question, that was really the extent of the question.
It was asking across how
Yeah.
many women she slept with,
Yeah,
and whether she knew.
wanted to get, that was really the extent of the question.
Okay, we'll ask the question again.
Yeah, was he a secretive person to you?
Yes, he's very secretive.
And when he told you a reason why he wanted to use your car, did you have any reasons to think that that might not be true?
I honestly thought it was for his son. Whenever he says anything about his kids, I believe him when it comes to his kids. I thought he was a great father to his kids. That's what he put on to me, but
So that's what he led you to believe.
yeah.
Nothing further.
I'm going to ask you a couple of follow-up questions. And you said that he was secretive, correct?
Yes.
And that's when it came to women, correct?
Yes.
That bothered you, correct?
I mean, it would bother anyone when a man is supposed to be telling you the truth and you're being really secretive about everything. And you being honest with them,
So you were upset about that?
Honestly,
So you were upset about that, correct?
about him being ugly, cheating, not really, because I was doing it too. How about that?
You all gotta be quiet.
No further questions.
Last question. Okay, you're done. Okay, was that the last witness for today?
Yes, sir.
Okay, anything else that needs to go on the record before we end today?
Not the people touching.
Not from the fence.
Okay, we're off the record, right here, 10 o'clock.